This video was made possible by Wix. If you are ready to create a website, head over to wix.com/go/infographics to try out one of their premium plans right now. Just this past June 2018, bartender John Amitrano was finishing his late night shift at a local bar in Chicago when he stepped outside for some fresh air. Hearing a plane buzzing overhead, he looked up and was startled to find a second figure closely following the plane from beneath. "I saw a flying plane, but also something moving really awkwardly under it," Amitrano said. "It didn't look like a bat so much as what illustrations of pterodactyls look like, with the slenderness of its head and its wing shape." While Amitrano's story is strange, dozens of other Chicago area natives have reported the same figure throughout 2018. Welcome to another special episode of the Infographics Show's Greatest Mysteries, The Legend of the Mothman. Amitrano is far from alone in reporting sightings of what has been dubbed the Chicago Mothman. To date, 55 other witnesses have come forward in 2017 alone with descriptions of a large, flying humanoid. What exactly is stalking the nighttime skies of Chicago, and could it be the legendary Mothman, harbinger of pending disaster? Though legends from all around the world tell of flying humanoids that portend disaster, the entity that came to be known as Mothman originates from the area around Point Pleasant, West Virginia in 1966. On November 16th of that year, the Point Pleasant Register ran a story with the headline, "Couples See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something," marking the beginning of a rash of sightings that would end in tragedy for the local community. The first sighting of Mothman occurred a few nights prior. Steve and Mary Mallett, along with Roger and Linda Scarberry, were driving on West Virginia Route 62. When they crested a hill, they came face to face with a 7-foot-tall creature with large red eyes and a 10-foot wingspan. Swerving around the creature, they drove away. But seconds later, the Mothman reappeared in front of their car. Hitting almost 100 miles per hour, the two couples made for town as the creature continued to chase them, soaring high up above the car and back down again. Turning onto a farm road, the creature once again got out ahead of them and blocked their path, lying down on the road as though hoping one of them would step out of the car to investigate. Fearing the creature was laying a trap for them, the couples refused to step out of their car and instead backed up onto the highway and finally made their way to town. Later that night, the couples returned with a sheriff, only to discover a strange lump of dust where the creature had lain. The news article encouraged others to come forward with their own stories. Many others also saw the creature, but remained silent due to fear of being ridiculed. A group of gravediggers came forward, telling the Point Pleasant Register that they too had encountered a half-man, half-moth creature flying through the trees just above their heads. The reports continued to come in over the next year, with residents hearing strange noises outside and finding red glowing eyes staring back at them from the darkness. Many skeptics have since concluded that the Mothman sightings were nothing more than a misidentified sandhill crane or great horned owl, yet this does not explain why the sightings suddenly stopped after the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15, 1967. With many of the eyewitnesses reporting that during Mothman's year-long visit, they felt a pending sense of doom and tragedy, it's curious that the creature would completely disappear from the local area after the bridge collapse. Another bridge collapse in 2007 would be linked to the Mothman. Reports of Mothman sightings flooded in shortly before the collapse of the I-35W Mississippi River Bridge in Minnesota. In an eerily similar manner to the Silver Bridge collapse, the I-35W Mississippi River Bridge buckled during the evening during rush hour on August 1st, 2007, killing 13 people and injuring 145. After the collapse, eyewitnesses came forward to state that they had seen a large flying humanoid in the area for months prior to the collapse, but as usual, had remained silent for fear of being ridiculed. One woman claimed to have seen the creature while driving in the vicinity of the bridge. She stated that the creature had large red eyes and a 10-foot wingspan, yet seemed to fly incredibly fast while hardly flapping its wings. But the Mothman is hardly just an American phenomenon. Sightings of what was dubbed the Freiburg Shrieker occurred across the Atlantic in Germany. On September 10, 1978, a group of miners prepared for a day's work in a coal mine near Freiburg, Germany. Approaching the mouth of the mine, they were startled to discover what they thought was a tall man in a dark trench coat, blocking access. Approaching the figure to demand he move out of the way, the men were surprised to discover that the figure was not a man at all, but rather an entity with large bat-like wings pinned to its sides. Without warning, the figure began to let loose a series of shrieks that, according to the miners, sounded like 50 men screaming at once, combined with the sound of a train's emergency brakes. Terrified, the miners fled, but stayed near the area of the mine. An hour later, the mine was rocked by an explosion that caused its collapse, and authorities would later state that had the men been at their posts during the explosion, they would all have died. While the Freiburg Shrieker was credited with saving their lives, months later, nearly a third of the miners would go on to develop serious mental disorders, a fate shared by Mothman witnesses around the world. The earthquake and resulting tsunami off the coast of Japan in 2011 is best remembered for the subsequent Fukushima nuclear plant disaster, but here too, Mothman seemed to play a role in portending its doom. Just days after the tsunami, reports began to spread across the internet from Japanese and foreign nationals living on the island nation of sightings of a Mothman-like creature near or around the area of the Fukushima plant. One report claims that while out checking on some scientific instruments studying the effects of the nuclear power plant's waste heat on the nearby environment, a man and his friend were startled by loud shrieking sounds. They were similar to a city bus's brakes when they are in need of service, loud and ear-splitting. Looking around, two friends and another couple out for a walk in the area spotted a large creature sitting atop one of the nuclear power plant's buildings, which were silhouetted against the moonlit sky. As the four witnesses watched, the creature spread its wings out to an estimated length of 10 feet and took to the air. It began to do circles around the buildings housing the reactors that would melt down weeks later. Suddenly, and without warning, the creature turned towards the four, flying at them at high speed about 25 feet off the ground. The four witnesses cowered in fear as the creature flew straight over them. One of the witnesses relayed that the creature had two large red eyes that seemed to glow from within. As it flew over and past them, all four were overwhelmed by a feeling of dread, a terrible fear that they shouldn't be there. Melting into the night sky, the creature was not seen again. Just weeks later, disaster would strike the Fukushima plant, irradiating large portions of the countryside and forcing hundreds of thousands to flee the area permanently. Our ancestors believed that both angels and demons inhabited our world, bringing prophecies of doom to those who didn't listen to their warnings. Could these ancient stories of angels and demons have been the original Mothman sightings? And could these legends be a mischaracterization of a very real and very mysterious creature that science has yet to document? Is Mothman a good entity trying to warn us, or is it merely a creature that feeds off of human tragedy? Or is it none of these things and merely the result of an overactive imagination, misidentified birds, and a desire to place the blame for senseless tragedy on something other than random bad fortune? We might never know. One thing we do know about is which is the best website platform. We can honestly say it's Wix. Wix is the perfect platform to create any kind of hobby or professional website that you can think of. Whether you need a website for your paranormal stories, or you're looking to advertise your new business involving ghost tours, Wix has a solution for all of it. Create the amazing website that you've been thinking about, and support the Infographics show at the same time by going to wix.com/go/infographics or by clicking the link in the description. Don't wait until it's too late, get a head start today with the amazing website you deserve. So, do you believe in the Mothman? Have you ever seen one? Know of any other monsters or legends you'd like to see us investigate? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video called What If You Never Left the Bathtub? Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time!